We're fashion forward once again this Sunday, this time with a woman who's a role model in more ways than one. Gayle King of CBS This Morning has just paid Ashley Graham a visit.
So when you strutted out here, what are you thinking when you're walking down the runway?
First of all, don't fall.
Okay, I'm not going to do it. Go ahead. Don't fall.
No, and also you have to think about your hips being forward, your shoulders being back, and then like not giving too much expression on your face.
In case you're wondering how they do that supermodel walk, let the pros show you how it's done.
Would you tell me why models never smile? Why they always look like they're pissed off about something?
There's really something about having to be like, we're there to just show the collection, right? We're not there to be like, this is my collection, I'm the Ashley Graham Show. I am a judge on VH1.
She may not have her own show yet, but Ashley Graham is sure having her moment. The 30-year-old author, businesswoman, and oh yes, model, was named one of Time magazine's 100 most influential people. There's even an Ashley Graham Barbie doll.
I worked my butt off. This is not an overnight success, Gayle. I'm talking 17 years in the industry, and blood, sweat, tears. I've had agents...
And told you weren't going to make it.
I've had agents tell me, you're not going to be on the cover of anything. You're a catalog girl. I've had clients tell me, you're too fat and we can't book you anymore because you don't fit into the jeans.
Instead of changing to fit in, it was the industry that changed to fit her. For starters, their size. She's a 14, but don't you dare call her...
Plus size. I know you hear that word and it raises, it's like fingernails on a chalkboard to you.
Yeah.
You hate the term plus size because?
I think the word plus size is so divisive to women. I think that when you use the word plus size, you're putting all these women in a category. You don't eat well, you don't work out, you could care less about your body, you're insecure, you have no confidence, and that is none of this.
Born in Nebraska, Graham says she was often bullied for being big.
People called me cottage cheese thighs all through school. People would do the sound of a truck backing up, beep, beep, as I was sitting down.
It was her mother who helped Graham learn to love her body and herself.
I remember going home one time crying to my mom, and I was sitting cross-legged, and I said, see this fat that's bulging out of my hip? And she said, that's just your hip. And honestly, if you didn't have that, you wouldn't fit into this family. And she really made me feel better about being a curvy, bigger girl in a world that was constantly judging me.
How Graham was discovered sounds like a Hollywood movie.
You and your dad are walking through the mall. A guy stops you, a man stops you and says what?
He says, hey, you're really pretty, would you want to be a model? And I was taken aback. I look at my father and he goes, well, what do you mean?
As it turns out, the man worked for a modeling agency. A year later, Graham was appearing in ads and catalogs. She got steady work during high school and by 18 had moved to New York, a full-time model living fast and out of control.
I started going into a spiral downfall.
Your parents said no sex, drugs, or alcohol.
Right.
And what did you do?
I went and had sex, drugs, and I had lots of alcohol. There was a lot of things that happened to me from 17 to about 20, 21 years old that my parents should have plucked me out of New York City and brought me home, but they made me stay and figure it out.
She figured it out all right and also had fallen in love with cinematographer Justin Irvin. She remembers the first time she took him home to Nebraska to meet her family, and she left out one little detail.
My mom tried to not make it a big deal, but Grandma made it a big deal.
Yeah.
And she couldn't even look him in the eye. I mean, it was horrifying. And I will never forget that feeling of just sitting there with Justin, thinking, I'm so embarrassed that I had to bring him in to meet these people who raised me and taught me how to live.
And he's being treated that way.
And he's being treated so terribly. And he said to me, racism is never surprising, but it's always disappointing.
The bond only grew closer for the couple. They've been married since 2010.
When you're married, you have to stay together. And I don't mean that just as like, oh, we're sticking together. No,
Yeah.
you have to like have sex. You have to be in the same home. You have to, I mean, there's so many things. Every couple is different. You have different rules. But I feel like if more people talked about what they were going through in their relationship, it would make it easier on them in the long run.
Beautiful right there.
I love it.
All the while, Graham's career continued to climb, and it skyrocketed in 2016.
For the first time ever.
That's when she made history, becoming the first so-called curve model to appear on the cover of Sports Illustrated's iconic swimsuit edition.
I'm shaking. I'm so honored. I'm sorry. I just took the mic out of your hand. I'm going to take over. Oh my God.
I'm taking over.
Anything can happen. Anything you want can happen. And I thought, yes, Sports Illustrated decided to have curvy women not only in their magazine, but on the cover of their magazine. Now that means that size diversity is here and it's real and it's not a trend. This is the Chamise and it's got all the fishnet on
From
it,
wearing a
the detail,
bikini
but everything
to
is
showing off her lingerie line.
If I'm wearing that, I think there should be a man in there. I don't want to wear that just walking around the house by myself.
To the daily affirmations she tells herself in the mirror.
I said to myself, you are bold, you are brilliant, and you are beautiful. You are worthy of all. I love you. And then I repeated it to myself.
Graham's message is simple. Every woman should be happy in the skin she's in, which may be easier said than done.
I got naked in front of the mirror, and I started touching my body and saying, lower belly fat, you're kind of cute. Thick thighs, you are so sexy, you just can't stop rubbing each other.
Did you?
I did. I'm telling you, if you don't even have to get naked. You just get down into your grandma panties and bra and just be like, all right, here we go.
Wait, Ashley, what makes you think I have grandma panties? Take that back, I have Spanx.
I take it back.
Take it back. I don't have grandma panties, I have Spanx. Okay, go ahead.
I have Spanx on too.
Along with plenty of advice, Graham also has a warning to anyone who wants to follow in her footsteps.
The question I get asked all the time from young girls is, how do I become a model? I want to be a model. And I say to them, why would you want to be a model? Why would you want to be picked apart all the time? Why don't you go be the editor? Why not strive to be like the Anna Wintour? Or why not be a designer and tell models what to do all day? I love my dress.
Ashley Graham is all about style and substance, a supermodel turning heads as a role model.
I'm having a moment, but I've been having a moment for, a little while right now, and I'm so thankful for it. It's not only are you seeing women who have my body shape, who are bigger, who are smaller, whatever, you see the industry changing right before your eyes. You can have an it moment, but you have to know how to continue to move this movement into something that's bigger than yourself.